And the bell has rung. Very difficult tests. I don't know how these kids remember the tests. They're so long. This test is really tricky, especially through the canter tour. Horse has to be really collected to do this, and it moves really fast when you're judging it. So let's see how she does. This is an experienced horse. Could have been more square and clearer transitions. She's turned out beautifully. Shoulder in, 3 tracks, half circle and half pass. It's quite stiff. It should show more bend and more flow. Halt, rein back 4 steps. 1, 2, 3, 4. And how do you count the steps in the rein back? I always get lots of different answers, but the right answer, count the front legs. Medium trot. Could be straighter, quarters pushing left. Now medium walk. Quite good. And now from V to R, to stretch to the bit. Again, a coefficient of 2, really important. The horse should go more to the bit, be more supple. He's holding his back. A little bit better right there. You can see the difference. And now the collected walk and a half pirouette coming up between G and H. So you want to look for the activity of the walk, the regularity, the collection, and the quality of the half turn, the pirouette. Start shoulder forward, turn, travers, and back. Okay. kind of blocked by the hut that's right in front of me, so I had a feeling it was quite good. Another one here. Yes, it was well done. And the collected walk looked quite good as well. Now another volte, 10 meters. She looks like a very competent rider. Bend could be clearer. I'm not sure she's on 3 tracks. And the half turn, and shoulder 4, and half pass. Quarter's starting to lead. And we're looking at transitions at both ends here to start and to finish. Want more from behind. More impulsion and more engagement. Okay, so this is the tricky part. Proceed in the canter. Collected canter, turn and change mark. Problems with the change. Now the quality of the collected canter and a mark, and now a mark for the half pass. Boom, boom, boom. Tricky. Line change. That was all right. That was problems again. Jump together. You know, flying change is expression of the quality of the collection of the canter. Here she goes again. Turn. Flying change. Those hind legs engaged. Jump together again. Not a good mark. Quality of the collected canter mark. And now another mark for the half pass. I would say the quality is lacking here, as in the half pass it was quite stiff and quite straight. Could be straighter. She should move the shoulders over for straightness. Remember, the horse is narrower in front than he is behind, so you have to think of a slight shoulder 4 on straight lines. She lost a lot of marks on her halts, but she stayed on course, so it was a very encouraging test for her. Lots of room for improvement. I think she has to learn how to collect the horse better, get those hind legs engaged more, get the horse more through. Certainly has a quality, and she's a very elegant rider. So now we're going to move on to the Intermediate 1. And the big step up is full canter pirouettes and 2 tempos. So it's a beautiful day here. Nice breeze, cool. Scott Hayes picking up the test. He's being a runner today. There's no job that he won't do. So here she comes. This is Grace Goodby on Sir Sherlock. X halt, salute, 3-second halt. quite good beginning. Now extended. Mark includes both transitions and all the way over to A. And that was lovely. Down center line, shoulder in. The horse should stay on 3 tracks. This horse is switching 3 to 4 and would probably get a very low mark. And on the volte, leaning very badly. Half pass is good, leading with the shoulders. Nice swing, nice cadence. And now the rein back, 5 steps. Okay, watch the front legs if you can see them. I can't see them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's quite good in the contact. The rhythm looked okay. And now half pass to the left. Quarters are leading. It's against the rider's inside leg. To start with shoulder 4 and control that better. Again, leaning and tilting. Shoulder in, bend could be better. And now the medium trot. Right to R. Fading transitions, right up to the letter for a higher score. Collected walk, it's a bit doubtful here. You can see a 2-beat versus a 4-beat. And then let's see if the extended walk is better. Yeah, extended walk is normal. And now collected walk and canter and the zigzag. So 3 half passes, 5 meters on either side of center line. You want the good quality of the canter, uniform, collection, balance, good fluency from side to side. The horse should be in self-carriage. This last half pass didn't have much bend. This is supposed to be extended canter, so we've got an off course going here. That's expensive. So now extended canter and a separate mark for collected canter flying change. This horse has quite a nice canter. Sometimes when you see problems in the walk, it reflects also in the canter, but not in this case. 3 tempos coming right at me. They could jump more through and be a bit straighter, but nevertheless, they're quite good. Now here's where they can make it or break it. Times 2 pirouettes. It was a very wide beginning, and could be more balanced. And here it failed the test of the pirouette, that's for sure. That was too bad. Horse hollowed and broke and went very wide. And now the changes. 2 tempos. A little mistake there. Too many mistakes. So this test, I'm sure, isn't her finest. That was a lovely transition at C. So nowadays, with the horses being so good and the riders being so good, you really can't afford to make any mistakes. Look at that trot. It's quite beautiful. That's why when you're riding these tests now, you can't afford to give away any marks. You have to use your corners, set yourself up, make clear transitions, and really ride for every mark in order to be competitive. You know, I think that collected walk mark, that's a difficult thing to fix, but not impossible. I was glad to see, though, that the extended walk was good. I'll let you listen to Noah. So that was our young rider score, ended up with 64%. So that was a good test, a test to build on, that's for sure. Comes another D line. Here we go. Big water truck going on here behind me for the national classes. There's 2 rings out there going today. Ended up having about 210 horses here this weekend, which is really great. That extended trot looked a bit hurried and quick. Shoulder in is quite expressive, quite cadenced. The volte looked good. The half pass. Point the ears at M, keep the pole up, lead with the shoulders, and there you go. Rein back. And count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 steps. They're right in front of the hut when they do that, so hopefully you can see it better than I can. That was good control of the bend and the rhythm. Dressage horses are supposed to be supple on both sides. That was quite a lovely volte. Good shoulder in. Good means 8. Comes a medium trot. To R. It's quite pleasant. It was fairly good. Fairly good means 7. And you can see this walk is clearly diagonal. It's probably more like medium. The neck is a bit low. Now let's see this walk. Is there an overstep? Yes. Is the horse reaching with its forearm, the toes out to the nose? It was quite good. Could be bigger and more supple, but quite correct in the approach. Obedient transition. And Now the zigzag. 5 meters on either side. The horse is quite balanced. Seems quite supple and doing a good job out there. You know, you like to see the horse carrying itself. It should look easy. Could have started a bit earlier, but they looked like they had good jump and were quite straight. So let's watch the preparation. You almost think of cantering on the spot. A little bit of flexion and bend to the left, like shoulder 4. And it should be between 6 to 8 steps. And I think she did a good job there. Good change. More self-carriage, clearer rhythm, not quite as good as the first one, but not too bad really. This test is going quite well. Now the 2 tempos. Skipping along here. Certainly uphill, maybe a little bit, could be a little bit more through and a little bit more jump. That transition at C could have been more supple. But I would expect overall this is going to be quite a high, one of the higher scoring tests. You get a feeling of harmony and self-carriage and correct training. And the halt, the final halt, was very good. It's always nice when you're watching to try to think of a score and then see how you do when they announce the scores. There really wasn't a lot to take off on that. There was no major errors. So I'd be thinking, you know, in the overall 7 between 69 and 71, if I had to guess. So we'll just see how I do. Spectator judging. Quite unsteady through the halt. Good moving horse. Rider's being quite brave, going for it. Unsteady line. A little large, maybe 9 meters. Giving away marks. It's good. Oh, that was a bit strange how he rode that pattern. Again, the circle's a bit large. Shoulder in was quite good. And now medium trot. It's quite good as well. Of the collected walk. Could be more supple, more clearly regular. The rider looks like he's working too hard. Like to see the rider sit really quiet. Quite a balanced canter. And again, the rider is going for it. Riding letter to letter. Unfortunate, missed that flying change. It's a separate mark. Three tempos. Expressive, clean. And now the dreaded pirouettes. Good preparation. Quite interesting how you approach that. Let's watch again. Collect, collect, collect. Look at the horse sit. He got a bit too far under and he's jumping together and switching behind, so that's going to cost. Whoops, and then switched again. It's too bad. Makes it tough on the judges. 2 tempos. 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Those were nice. Could be more through to the right, but still quite expressive. That transition was on the forehand. It's a nice picture. You know, very elastic, very up. Very cadenced. Nice. Good ending. Few problems were costly. So I think I was pretty close. I just turned it off and back on again. Yahoo? Yeah, because I can't hear him. Oh, not really. Not very well. That extended trot was a little in slow motion. I'd like to see her go on a bit more. It's nice. A little large. Keep the pole up. Want to be able to see the top of the bridle between the ears. Nose should be more to the letter, more flexion. When you hear the banging on the boards, you know that they're crooked. A little bit of leaning, a little bit large. Keep the pole up. Good corner. And now she has to go on more. Yeah, that's good enough for medium trot, but it's very, very similar to her extended trot. Should be more of a difference between the two. Let's look at the collected walk. Is the pole the highest point? Is it 4 beat? A little bit of strut steps in front, and the pole is a bit low. It's still regular. This horse is walking with its whole body. It's a good example of an extended walk. I think it's our best one so far in this class. more focus on leading with the shoulders and keeping the pole the highest point. Better at the end. Quite brave. Good suspension uphill. One, two, three. Fluid. You know, when you're judging, when you're looking, you have to pretend like your eyes are like a camera and take in the whole picture so you can see everything, the mouth, the pole, the hind legs, the way the horse is engaging and carrying himself. You know, and if there's a problem with the contact, the horse is short in the neck or the mouth is gaping open, it's usually a problem with the back or the engagement of the throughness. It's just an indication of what's not happening behind the bridle or what the rider's not doing. The half halts aren't coming through. But you have to be able to look at the whole picture. The two tempos. A little bit short jump to the left. You see that? Doesn't jump through as much on the left-hand side. On the right-hand side, rather. Good transition at sea. This is, you know, quite nice teamwork. You can see that they understand each other. The horse is quite happy with her. A lot of good things. So we have quite a few more horses to go, some very experienced riders coming up. A few Canadians sprinkled in. We have David Whiteman's coming up. Aaron Crawford from Canada. Ashley Luca, who is formerly Canadian, now a U.S. citizen, but formerly from British Columbia. And the last horse to go in this class is Stephen Peters, who we're going to have an interview with later. So thank you all for joining us today. I know I've watched this at home through the first show, and it's a nice thing to do, to be able to watch. And today is just a super day for riding. There's a cool breeze, and if you're sitting in the shade, you really need a jacket. There's no bugs, and there's a slight cloud cover. We're a little bit worried about the weather tomorrow.
Reminder to everybody that our scores are available to be viewed online at horseshowoffice.com. You can see all of our results from this week's competition here in Temecula at horseshowoffice.com, along with all of our official draw results and competition results of the national competition.
We have a horse coming now. I'm assuming.
Our next entry into the arena now, riding for Guatemala. This is entry number 928, Vivian Andrea Short, Pino, and Zedric Deloma. Zedric Deloma, 15-year-old Dutch 72 handbag gelding, and then ridden by Vivian Andrea Short, Pino. Zedric Deloma is by Good Times out of Deloma, this combination from Littleton, Colorado.
So, all the way from Guatemala. Interesting. Well, the sun's starting to come out.
Es la señora Vivian Andrea Shorpino y Zedric Deloma.
Thank you, Noah. That sounded lovely. I didn't know you could speak so many languages. You're doing a great job. Nice entry. Could be more square. A lot of riders, when they turn at sea, they come too close to the boards. You should turn like it's a half a 10-meter circle to make it easy on the horse. The extension was a little hurried and a bit flat. Shoulder in, could be more supple, more cadenced. point the ears at M, keep the poll up, and show more bend. You want to try to keep a softness in your hands and riding with your hands out in front of yourself towards the horse's mouth. You want to make it look easy. It's too straight. More self-carriage, more cadence. And have to be on 3 tracks. Move the shoulders over. Very obvious to the judge at C. I was just going to say this horse has good energy in the walk, and then it lost the rhythm a little bit. And there's a fine line there. We like to see more collection, more control of the bend. Ending was a bit tight. It's very brave, just going for it, right up to the letter. And then all the way to A, you have to look at the quality of the collection. Now the changes. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. To make sure you center those changes. Let's see how this is handled. Could be a little bit more light, a little more balanced. It's a good approach, good beginning. Quite good. They're both quite good. And remember, that's a coefficient of 2 on the pirouettes. That's big. Now the 2s. 1, 2, 3, 4. Made a mistake. So you could probably still give a 5. Problem was they were a bit swingy as well, so it's hard to go higher than that. Hard to see that clearly, but I had the feeling it needed more impulsion and it was a little hurried. My angle is I'm behind M. And a great halt, good immobility. I say the halt that you teach them in the lower levels is the one that lasts them all through right up to Grand Prix.
Andrea, short clip note.
Important.
Cedric Deloma, just completing their ride in a CDI 1-star intermediate 1 test. You have scores for a previous entry for Harley Davidson and Shane Simon at E 71.471%, at H 70.441%, at C 67.794%, at M 69.706%, and at B 68.382%. Final scores now for Shane Simon and Harley Davidson 69.559%.
So that's a very respectable score. Now this is David Whiteman.
Now for the United States, this is David Whiteman and Silverfell. 9-year-old Hannaberry and Brown Gully, run by Kathleen Rain, competed today by David Whiteman from Marietta, California.
David's brought many horses up into the FEI. He and Kathleen have good business going, their own place, and lots of clients, well known in the California area. And they train with Johanneman. This is not his best beginning, but now he'll just probably school. He's a very good rider. Very nice young horse. 9 years old, not very old. Good positioning, rhythmical. More self-carriage. And the same here. It's very nicely ridden, expressive. Let's look at the walk tour now. You're all going to be walk experts. Is the walk regular? Yes, it is. Does it look collected? Not enough, really. You know, the pole should be the highest point. Look more like medium walk. It's a nice reach, correct contact. Really taking advantage of the little break in the walk. Be a little bit more balanced, a little bit light, more light. More collected, really. David's trying to get marks where he can and going for it where he can. Wow. started his pattern a bit late. But boy, the changes are big. Let's see if he can collect enough to... Well, he hollowed out a little bit. I was surprised it was as good as it was. It's good riding. That was better. It's more balanced, more fluid. Let's see the changes from the side. We have to remember this horse. I think he's got a good future. Yeah, the changes are really something. Wow, you could give a really good mark for those changes. I hope the judges are brave enough to reward that. And that was a good transition at C. You don't see it like that very often. He's just trying to pick up marks where he can now in a rough beginning. It's quite exciting to see, you know, these moments of brilliance, these young horses. Maybe I'll get a chance to talk to David later and ask him what he thought of this test. And I'll let you know. Yeah, he deserves a big round of applause for that ride. Because he's still, you know, even though there was problems with the horse wasn't always sure he could do it. David just kept pushing him and asking him for more. And then in the end, it turned out quite well. Nice, very nice to see.
Scores now for our previous entry. For Guatemala's Vivian Andrea Shortpino and Cedric Deloma at E 67.059, at H 66.765, at C 66.324, at M 65.294, and at B 64.706. Final score for Vivian Andrea Shortpino and Cedric Deloma, 66.029%.
So our next horse is due in at 1:51. So maybe you've got time to run to the fridge and get a drink, relax in your own house. Maybe you're having a party with a group of friends watching this. I hope so. Maybe next year or next show you'll all come and visit this wonderful area. There's a lot to do. There's water, zoos, great shopping, lots of restaurants. Temecula downtown, old downtown, is really fun. Lots of galleries and arts and crafts and tons of restaurants, and you should plan a holiday. Come and visit. And the horse show is really close to town. Everything is very convenient. I think Scott and his group has done a great job.
Temecula for the Adequan West Coast Dressage Festival, presented by many wonderful sponsors, and among them we'd like to thank Trove. Discover improved fitness, focus, and function with Trove CBD, THC-free products for exercise recovery, inflammation relief, injury rehab, and overall wellness for you and your animals. Discover Trove, the CBD supplementation that works. You can shop them online at trovecbd.com.
Well, we're not getting him through here, and this supposedly is a line from his board to here, but we're not getting it. So, do? I have to do a wireless system or something from there to here. I can hear him.
Around the arena now, our next entry in the CDI One-Star competition presented by Blue Heron Farms. This is number 921, Alyssa Buchler and Echo. Echo is a 10-year-old American warm blood bay mare by Alyssa Buchler from Ventura, California. Owned by Campino 009 out of Polotaire.
This horse has to be in clearer self-carriage. Looks like a very nice combination, but just has to be a little bit more up and light. It's something you have to teach them in their everyday training. Well, maybe not every day, but you know that you have to ride them long and low, and then you have to ride them up, and they have to learn to be supple and self-carry when they're up as well as when they're long and low. But when you're in the show ring, you know, the judges have to follow the rules put out by the FEI, by the International Federation, and they're looking that horses are light and that the pole is the highest point, and they have to judge them accordingly. So when the horse is a little bit low and on the forehand and going downhill, it's hard to give really high marks. So for me, this half pass was more like a leg yield than a half pass. The last one was a bit better in the positioning, but on the forehand. Horse is high behind. You want to think of galloping up a hill, not down a hill. In the flying change, the collection was lacking. It was downhill on the forehand. Horse has to learn to sit and use his big muscles behind to carry the rider in the front end. Those look quite fluid. That was a bit labored and on the forehand. Just to energize the engagement and ride half halts to better engage and balance the horse. The change was quite flat and downhill. And the same with the changes. You want more energy, more connection, more uphill. I think, you know, this test has been obedient, but I think that they need to develop a better feel for self-carriage and balance collection in order to get a really high mark.
The Blue Heron Farms CDI-Y start competition today. We have scores now for David Whiteman and Silverfell at E 68.676%, at H 68.529%, at C 67.059%, at M 66.618%, and B 68.676%. Final scores for David Whiteman and Silverfell 67.912%.
Well, imagine what he would have gotten if he wouldn't have had those problems. He would have been well over 70, I'm sure. So the next rider in is an Erin Crawford. I'm not sure if she's the same Erin Crawford from Ottawa in Canada. So we'll just have to see. And the horse is has a strange name. Maybe it's a Lusitano or PRE. Nope, it's a Dutch. 17-hand, 8-year-old Dutch.
And thanks to our fantastic ground jury, we're still running 5 minutes ahead of scheduled showtime. Next ride due here at 2 o'clock. Official showtime now 1:55.
So Erin is due in at 2 o'clock, so I'm not sure if she'll hold to her time or not. 5 more horses to the break. Got some really interesting riders coming up. Rebecca Rigdon, she's been doing very well, and of course Kathleen Rain, she showed yesterday and did quite well on Don Johnson. And then in the final group, we've got Gunther, Siddell, David Blake.
Into the arena now, representing Canada, Crawford and Godot, SSF.
Yes, it is our Canadian Aaron Crawford. Oh, that's fun.
Godot, SSF, an 8-year-old Dutch 17-hand chestnut gelding by Girl Scott
Wow.
Tillman, competed today by Aaron Crawford.
17 hands, and Aaron's not a very big girl.
Godot, SSF is by UB40 out of Bowendy.
Wow, beautiful big horse. We haven't seen many chestnuts here. Erin's owned many horses over the years. She used to live in Ottawa. She had Grand Prix horses. And then I understand she's living out west now, teaching and riding. So it's fun to see her. Good luck, Erin.
On the center line now for Canada, Aaron Crawford and Godot, SSF.
No, she's doing a good job. A lovely circle, volte, and a very correct half pass. Very nice. You know, 17 hands is a pretty big horse, but if you train them to be light and in front of your aides, they're not so big to ride. She looks really nice on the horse. And she should be getting some very good marks here. Well, the walk looks correct. Looks like a real collected walk. We haven't seen too many of those, as people don't know how to train it. But this is normal. This looks good. Good overstep, good stretching to the bit. Warrants a very good mark. Well, all of a sudden it's gotten quite warm. The sky is blue and the sun's out. It's a happy day in California. Boy, they've had a lot of bad weather here. Well ridden, Aaron. She's really going for it. Nice uphill canter. Good frame here. Lots of expression and jump through the changes. Quite straight. Could be more collected. And she's making it look quite easy. That was lovely. I hope the judges agree with me. We'll have to see. Those are good. And you know what good means? Good means 8. I would have given an 8 for that. Maybe even thought about higher. Why not? Good transition at C. Oh, she's really in control here. Needs more impulsion. Well, there you are, Canada. You've got a contender down here. Nice, quiet, elegant riding. She should be very happy with her horse. Well ridden. Nice to see.
Scores now for Alyssa Buechler and Echo at E, 64.559%, at H, 65.0%, at C, 63.971%, at M, 66.618%, at B, 62.794. Final scores now for Alyssa Buechler and Echo, 64.588%. Around the arena now. Next entry from Eagle, Idaho. This is Nadine Schwartzman and Donnertzeit. This is Lori Nielsen's 14-year-old Hanoverian Bay Gelding by Donnerschlag.
Another Donner Hall baby. We've sure seen a lot of them this weekend so far. Boy, she's come a long way, that Idaho.
We do have a high score to report on here for our national show competition. In third level test 1, Donwet O'Connor and Galino Finley just scored 76.757%. Congratulations, that's so far our high score of the show. For Donwet O'Connor and Galino Finley, 76.757 in third level test 1. Congratulations. And our CDI for the one-star competition from Eagle, Idaho. This is Nadine Schwartzman and Donnertzeit.
Would like to see more engagement and the rider going more with the horse versus leaning back against the motion. Good half pass. I think a little too many steps and crooked. Shortening the neck, keep the pole up. And good shoulder in. More balance on the hind. And let's check out this walk. Is it regular? Yes, it is. Is it collected? Yes. Active? Yes. I think you could give quite a good mark for that. Extended, lower and lengthen the frame. Stretch more to the bit. I think there could be more stretching, but it was good quality and quite active. The last half pass was more like a diagonal line. Yeah, right approach. Uphill. And the twos. 1, 2, 3. 3 tempos. Good. Preparation. The horse engaged, sitting behind. Not too bad. The change was a little on the forehand. Wide beginning. And now the twos. Quite fluent. The same left to right. Quite straight. Yes, they could give quite a good mark for that. Early to trot.
For their final halt, Lady Schwartzman and Gunnar side.
Yeah, many, many good movements.
And we have scores now for Canada's Aaron Crawford and Godot SSF at E 72.206, at H 71.176, at C 70.882%, at M 70.0, at B 70.294. Final scores for Aaron Crawford and Godot SSF 70.912%.
Oh, Canada, doing great. Oh, that's it was a nice ride. All the judges agreed. Me too. There's still some very good rides and riders coming up, but she certainly was the best of the group we've seen so far. So now, the next rider, Ashley Luca, born in Canada, in British Columbia. Her mother's very involved in the sport. And Leslie. So it's nice to see her daughter here. I haven't seen Leslie. I don't know if she's here or not. I'm sure she's watching if she's not here. So Ashley lives, I think, in Arizona or Colorado somewhere now. She has her own business. Is a beautiful little girl. And became an American. Sadly, our loss. Lucky America. So she's due in at 2:18. Got a couple of minutes here. Hope you're enjoying yourselves, and thank you for listening. This is fun for me, quite relaxing, sitting, watching horses,
Once again, we're still running about 5
doing
minutes
something I love to do.
here at the Adequan West Coast Dressage Festival. We'd like to let everyone know about an awesome
I'll be
event
back in
tomorrow. Here
April.
at the competition, we'll have the Elite Salesforce Showcase, sponsored by Summit Farm. 10 quality sales horses presented by Joseph Zuckerman and exclusive dressage imports. John Wayne O'Connor, David Blake, Terry Rich, Jennifer Williams, and Somerville Premier Dressage, Sarah Loughlin, and Summit Farm. All of those horses are stabled on site for viewing and appointments here at barn number 15. That will take place tomorrow night here in the CDI International Competition Arena at 5 p.m. And big thanks once again to Summit Farms, who will present tomorrow the Elite Salesforce Showcase here at the Adequan West Coast Dressage Festival.
Well, that should be fun to see the sale horses. Hopefully I won't buy one. I see a horse working its way up towards us. Beautiful afternoon. Sunny, little breezy. Beautiful footing. I think this is all new footing. It's gorgeous. It's everywhere. Well, almost everywhere.
Into the arena now, our next combination for the CDI One-Star competition, presented by Blue Heron Farms. Once again, big thanks to Wendy and Courtney Kristoff. And this is number 910, Ashley Luca and Saul Susie K.
Okay, she's an American. Just remember, born in Canada. Used to train with Leslie Reed.
From Phoenix, Arizona.
One of our top trainers in Canada. Big influence from Dietrich von Hofgarten, who we all miss. So nice to see Ashley here. Good entry. Good halt. And good transitions. It's one of the best entries we've seen. I'm sure she learned that in Canada. Quite bold. Steady on 3 tracks. More control of the bend. And she's making it look quite effortless. The horse is in front of her aids. Good in the mouth. The camera picture is good. She sits beautifully. This half pass was a bit too straight. You have to lead clearly with the shoulders. Good circle. Steadier on 3 tracks. Very nice. The walk is regular, but could be more supple. Now, she's throwing away marks here. Really, that horse could stretch much more and show much bigger reach. You know, it's a coefficient of 2. It's a lot of marks. And it affects your general impression as well. Little problems with jumping through behind. It's quite nice. Good prep before the change. Good change. And the canter is quite lovely here. Uphill, closed, balanced. Could be straighter, especially to the left. I'm in the perfect spot for that. Good control, good energy. Can be a bit more collected and a bit more through, but still she would get at least a 7 for that. That could be more supple. She's having a very respectable ride here. Really quite brave and forward. The horse seemed to be really trying. Oh, good for Ashley.
And scores now for Nadine Schwartzman at Gunnerside from Eagle, Idaho at E 72.647, at H 67.206%,
What?
at C 69.265%,
What?
at M 70.0%, and at B 68.529. Final
What?
score for Nadine Schwartzman and Gunnerside 69.529%.
Somebody has got 77? Wow. Maybe I didn't hear that right. Did you hear that right? I don't know. Anyway, it can happen. So next in is a famous rider, Rebecca Rigdon. And she and David Blake run a business together. She's very well known in California. Lots of wins. Good rider, good horsewoman. So it'll be fun to watch her ride. She's just coming into the arena now. And I'm sure Noah will tell us all about her.
Our next entry for the CDI-Y star is number 908. This is Rebecca Rigdon and La Faria. Faria, a 10-year-old Rhinelander Pfalzer International Brown mare by Lord Loxley out of Royal Girl, owned by David Blake, competed today by Rebecca Rigdon from Cardiff by the Sea, California.
What a beautiful horse. Perfectly turned out. She and the horse. Lovely jacket. So nice to see. Beautiful braid job, boy. You know, you can do something about how you look and how you turn out. You may not always be able to control your performance in the ring, but it's important to look good going into the ring. And that you can control. And she's done a great job of that. Good so far. Maybe steadier on 3 tracks and more up in the bridle. Circle looked large, about 1 meter too large. You know, you just can't make little mistakes like that anymore. There's too many good horses. I was at a large clinic in Frankfurt in Germany in this December. And there was a big focus on accuracy and riding letter to letter and using the corners and you know, and I understand that because just the quality of the horses is so improved, and all the horses can do all the tricks. So somehow the judges have to separate them. So if you're not riding accurately, you're not going to do well, even if you have a lovely horse. You know, you'll see at the end of this class how close some of the scores are. You lose a point here, a point there, and all of a sudden, you know, you're in the middle or the bottom of the pack. So really focus on being accurate and riding letter to letter. And I noticed here yesterday and today quite a bit too that the balance and the self-carriage and the collection and the canter is not always enough. It's something to think about, to work on. You know, she was slow to start that. She could have prepared more in the corner and really gone from H. She waited till she was at the quarter line. Just, you know, little things like that. You can't afford to make those kinds of little mistakes anymore. Those were quite straight, quite expressive. Very nice horse. It was well done. Again, good control, rhythmical, balanced. I think we could see another very good score here. Boy, she started those early. Maybe too early. But it worked, so it's okay. You want to center the changes over X for a really good pattern. That looks lovely. Yep, there you go. Nice test. Beautiful girl and a beautiful horse. Good halts, obedient. It's nice. I'm sure she's very happy with that test. Okay. So Ashley's in second spot, the former Canadian. So, famous rider, Kathleen Rain. I understand she's going to Europe to Henneman to train this summer. Maybe ride his horses, not take her own. I'm not sure. She's been a great competitor over the years. So many horses. So competitive. Started her training with Hilda. Met David there. And the rest is history. She's always had a lot of mares. Whoop. Little blip there was costly. Slightly irregular behind. I'd like to see more impulsion, more equal. Tendency to cross over with one hind leg. Looks like he's on 4 tracks here. Should be on 3 and more up. And lost the bend. I think there was an extra step there. Quarters leading. To see more shoulder freedom, more expression. And the collected walk. Should be active, up, supple. It's quite nice. He looks a little behind her aids to me. Those look quite straight, quite nice. More self-carriage. Flat change. More engaged, more balanced. Now the twos. He can be more over his back and jump more through, but all clean. And very good halt at the end.
Cafe Ray and Don Johnson is completing their ride in the CDI-Y star. That'll bring us to the mid-class break, and we'll resume the competition here with the final 5 rides in this class at 3:06. Our official show time is now 2:38.
Okay, so I'm going to sign off now, and I'll be back for the 3:06 ride, and we'll have an exciting last group here, and we'll see who wins. Could be anybody, because there's still some very competitive riders coming up. Okay, talk to you soon.
Scores now for Rebecca Rigdon and LaFaria at E 69.706, at H 71.912, at C 71.324, at M 73.824, and at B 72.206. Final score for Rebecca Rigdon and LaFaria 71.794%.
And we have scores now for Kathleen Rain and Don Johnson in the CDI 1-star Intermediate 1 at E, 69.265, at H, 68.088, at C, 67.353, at M, 67.647, and at B, 65.882. Final marks for Kathleen Rain and Don Johnson, 67.647%. Our official showtime is now 2:56, and we're 10 minutes away from our restart here in the CDI International Arena. And we'll begin to ask our officials and scribes to please begin making your way back towards your boxes. Our official showtime is now 3:03, and we're just a few moments away from resuming our competition with the CDI 1-star, the FEI Intermediate 1. And we come to the final 5 rides in the class. And into the arena now is number 927. This is Christina Harrison and Finley. 9-year-old Dutch, 17 two-hand gray gelding. Finley is by Don Jovi, owned and ridden by Christina Harrison from Burbank, California.
Beautiful 9-year-old Dutch horse. Had a beautiful beginning. The reinback was a little tense, to say the least. But the center line work, the shoulder in, Voltaine half pass were very good. The horse looks light and airy uphill. Comes the medium. Wow, nice shoulder freedom. Good behind. Contact is correct. Let's hope he can walk. Looks good from here. I'm in the corner behind M. Neck is a bit low. He's holding his back. The walk is regular, but it's not really supple and active and up. So I wouldn't be thinking a very high mark for that. Very carefully ridden.
You're talking quiet, which is fine.
So the walk tour wasn't that strong. Let's hope the canter tour is better. The trot tour was quite amazing. The canter is a little bit on the forehand. It's fairly conservative. Should have more suspension, more air time. Very stiff flying change. And this collected canter could be more supple, more balanced. The changes were clean, a bit swingy. Could be more through. You know, the changes are an expression of the quality of the collection and the canter. So if you don't have a really good collected canter, your changes aren't going to be that great. So really work on the quality. That was kind of an amazing pirouette. A quick flat change. Whoop. Like a jackrabbit here, jumping. Just holding the back and a bit tense and quick. Needs to get as comfortable in the canter as he is in the trot. Has to be more through. The rider needs to keep her seat more through the flying changes to sit. That was a very stiff transition. Tells you a lot. You know, it's a simple, basic move, but horses should be able to do canter trot all the way through their career. Back to the comfort zone here.
And the final hold for Christina Harrison and Finley in our Blue Heron Farms CDI 1-star.
I'm going.
So, now you're in for a real treat. The famous Gunther Sedel. I think he's a 4-time Olympian.
And into the arena, our next combination for the CDI 1-star is number 911. This is Gunther Sedel for the United States aboard Beltano.
We're going to have
the 10-year-old Hanoverian 17 3-hand brown gelding owned by Leatherdale Farms, competed today by Gunther Sedel from Cardiff by the Sea, California.
A terrible accident a number of years ago. Obviously has made a full recovery. A very popular clinician, teacher, very talented. Came from Germany some time ago and became an American. He's actually born in Bavaria, in Germany. And he represented the United States at a number of Olympics. My papers are blowing all over the place at the moment. Sorry about that. It's at Atlanta, Sydney, Athens, and then World Championships, draws and Aachen, and it goes on and on and on. So talented, experienced rider. So the expectation is high here. Let's watch how he rides that center line. Maybe Stephen will be able to give a big mark here. That was good. Correct faute. Half pass. Good flexion. Leading with the shoulders. Good crossover. Good rein back. You know, he's got a nice forward rhythm going. Gunther's quite a tall guy. But this horse is 17.3, 10-year-old Hanoverian, and it's quite a picture, a lovely picture. I'm happy for Gunther. It's a good quality walk. The self-carriage could be steadier, but the quality is good. The horse has got a good walk, big long legs, stretching into the bit, covering ground. Judges could give a very good mark for that. Look at the tail. Oh my gosh. It's gorgeous. Well, that was beautifully ridden. The best one I've seen in a while. He's really going for it here. Pulling at all the stops. Makes it so much easier to judge. You know, when you can only have to use the high marks. Let's hope he can keep it going here. Lovely. Now let's see. This is the real test. The pirouettes. You're looking for 6 to 8 strides. That the horse is balanced, engaged, and self-carries. Keeps the rhythm of the canter. Clear 3-beat rhythm. There. Wow. Wow. What would you give for that? What could be better? I don't know. You know, you could give it a 9 or a 10. Why not? That one wasn't quite as good, but still an 8. Yeah, the horse waits for him. He's listening. It's wonderful. Yeah, slightly crooked over center line, but still the changes were equal and supple and through. That was probably his weakest movement. Maybe get a 6.5 for that, for the transition to trot. But I think this is an opportunity for the judges to pull out a few stops and give some really high marks. Really nice test. And ending with a lovely halt. Congratulations.
Final halt and salute now for Gunter Seidel and Beltano. Scores now for our previous entry, Christina Harrison and Findlay at E, 71.324, at H, 71.029, at C, 69.412, at M, 68.088, at B, 69.559. Final score for Christina Harrison and Findlay, 69.882%.
So you should write down what you think his score is going to be. I think I'm going to go with 74.
And coming to the arena now is number 909. This is David Blake and Haida Spirit. 9-year-old Oldenburg Black Mare by Blue Horse Zach out of Honigblüte. Owned by Pippa Bird. Competed today by David Blake from Cardiff by the Sea, California.
Starting to cool down here already. Putting my coat back on. So here we have the other half. David Blake on Heidi Spirit. It's a 9-year-old Oldenburg. Oh, by Blue Horse Zach. Well-bred horse. Really nice. Love that Blue Horse Zach horse. He's 16.3. It's a lovely size. David looks really good on him. He was slow to start that extension, and you like to see him come out more in the shoulders. It's a bit mouthy. You know, you want them to chew the bit and show some white foam, but I like them to keep their mouths relatively quiet. Just something that you notice, just to keep an eye on. More self-carriage, more collected. Takes a while to get going. He should start right from the corner with more shoulder freedom for a really high score. Clear rhythm, clear regularity. The neck is a bit straight and it could have been more up. Good overstep. Very active. Nice canter. You know, we haven't seen a lot of really balanced canters. Quick change. A little bit too straight. Whoops, anticipating the change behind. Whoops, it'll be costly. Problems with the change. The horse is a bit of an overachiever. That was good. Made it look easy. He really sits and uses his hind end. Wonderful. Super horse. Whoops. Oops. Just a bit of tension now and again, a bit costly. Little mistakes. Good halt. Really good.
David Blake and Haida Spirit just completing their ride
maybe they're
for the
gonna have the
CDI
score
one
now for
star.
Gunther.
And marks now for Gunter Seidel and Beltano at E 73.382, at H 72.50, at C 71.765, at M 71.176, and at B 71.618%. Final score for Gunter Seidel and Beltano 72.088%, and that will push them into the lead.
Well, I said 74. I guess I was too nice. But we all agreed we've got him winning. And I don't think David's ride is going to beat that. Not that the horse isn't good enough, because it is, but it just didn't always self-carry and collect today, and then there was some tension. But what a nice prospect. Horse for the future, that's for sure.
Around the arena now is Shannon Warner, number 920, and Rubico. 14-year-old Hanoverian Chestnut Gelding, owned by Patty Blackmore, competed today by Shannon Warner from Parker, Colorado.
All the way from Colorado, wow. 14 years old, it's a Hanoverian. From Parker, Colorado. Isn't that great that they came here? And here she comes. Nice balanced canter. Good beginning. But the keeper of the center line, Stephen, I think won't be giving that a high mark. It looked like it was on 4 tracks. Should be on 3 for the shoulder in. Getting a bit short in the neck through the corner. Quite a nice volte. The shoulder in looks better. Slow to start. Clear regularity. More self-carriage. It's quite active. I think potential for a very good mark in the collected walk. And this he needs to stretch more. Allow the stretch. Very conservative. And collection not clear. There's a mistake at the end of 2 tempo. That'll be a low mark. It's too bad. It's nice changes. It was quite good. Nice change. Right idea. Good changes. Nice horse. Good age, nice size. 16-2. Obedient, willing.
Just completing their ride, Shannon Warner and Rubico for for the CDI 1 Star presented
So
by
one
Blue
more.
Heron Farms.
Show them the rest, then bring in the best. Well, Stefan has got his work cut out for him. Stefan Peters.
Scores now for David Blake and Haida Spirit at E67.5, at H70.294, at C68.382, at M67.941, at B68.824. Final mark for David Blake and Haida Spirit, 68.588%.
Shut. So Stefan's time is, he's doing at 3:42. Stefan originally comes from Germany, and he's been in California a long time. And he's married to Shannon. They have a business, good business, very popular trainer and rider. He's been on many teams, Olympic teams, World Cup. He has, I think, quite a few horses now that he's named to go to the Pan American Games in Lima, Peru in September this year. Rosamond is one that's named. I don't think she's here this weekend. And then he has a Grand Prix horse that he's had for, I guess, 2 years now. Mopsy is not the show name. I think it's showing tomorrow.
Our final entry for today's CDI 1 Star Intermediate 1 is making their way towards the arena. This is number 917, and for the United States, this is Stefan Peters with Quintessential Hit. Quintessential Hit is a 10-year-old Oldenburg 16-1 handbag gelding owned by Terry Sue Wenzinger, ridden today by Stefan Peters from San Diego, California.
Yeah, Stefan is 54 years old. He's a 4-time Olympian. He's been at 5 World Cups. I think his big hope is the Soup and Casper horse. The barn name is Mops, 11-year-old, owned by Akiko. And he's had many good horses. Working with Jo Henneman. Nice guy. Very fit. And Be interesting. Let's watch him work his way through this test. Good beginning. Quite good. I've never seen this horse before. This looks lovely. Lovely horse. Lots of cadence, lots of presence. Just holding our breath here. He's doing really well so far. Yeah, the horse has got a good walk. This is encouraging it to self-carry and keep the pole up. Quite active. Now he's allowing the horse to stretch to the bit. Good ground cover. Walking with his whole body. One of our better walks we've seen today. More self-carriage, more collected. Looked a little behind the aid there. Oh, that was one of the straightest line of changes we've had here this afternoon. A little bit low in his neck, a little short in his neck. But the changes were good. This will be interesting. Oh, jumping together. It's not going to be the highest mark. It's very costly. It's a coefficient of 2. Oh. He had one step where he jumped together, but he didn't look really strong and really uphill in those. Those look good. This horse is only 10 years old, so he's got a big career ahead of him. Very expressive horse. Good halt.
Stefan Peters and Quintessential
Well,
Hit
to wait
just
and see,
completing
but
our Blue Heron Farms CDI
if I was
one-star
A betting
here
person.
at the Adequan West Coast
I
Dressage
would
Festival.
think,
We'll
Gunther
have
had a
their
better
scores
chance
here in
today.
just a few moments. Meanwhile, our
emphasis
scores
on
now
today.
for Shannon Warner and Rubico at E
This horse wasn't always
69.118,
enough collected,
at
enough
H
uphill.
70.0,
The pirouettes.
at C 69.412, at M 67.059, at B
So we'll have to wait and see.
66.765. Final scores for Shannon Warner and Rubico 68.471%.
Quintessential Hit. Must be a Sandro hit in there somewhere.
We move now to the CDI-Y, our FEI Young Rider team test. This